Yeah. People's ignorance and passion and greed and all the stuff, right?
Yeah. You know, when we were talking about different things. Oh, that's awesome. Somebody else. That's me. You can evaluate that one.
Well, you know, we don't operate with our
That's right. That's where our ultimate intention is.
many ways to operate with it. What is that here?
Yeah, I didn't have any of that yet.
I'll just get some more of this. What do you want to hold? Oh, okay, well, let's do it in the regular.
Somebody else. Oh, he's right here in San Diego. He's looking for a green book. The eye of the lotus. Just come out a few years ago.
Yeah, I think that's probably about a year ago. So, Julia, you can call it cold because I may have missed it. When do we get started? Right?
I expect it this week.
Oh,
Yeah, we now have enough to handle on the processing information. So,
you want to do it today after work?
yeah. And, we'll be with them, we'll do a draft. And get the PDF forms and then that printed out, so you can't save it. Print it, so. The Word document, follow their blanks.
That's what I did. I was having trouble using that. It's just trying to fill in the boxes. I just did Microsoft Word, Certain key points.
And then we're gonna get the final draft of application, that, print it, I guess, mail or fax or whatever you want it to want.
Yeah. That was when that was. It's probably done and submitted before the end of the month, because before you actually have a workshop meeting on the 29th. So we'd like to see what we're saying at that time.
Okay.
This is the
And do I need to print that? I mean, I know Alan had mentioned it in the weekly meeting.
We find out about that, thank you very much. It might be good. But, I'm not doing the agenda that week.
Okay. And, there's a cake show.
We have one at Scottsdale, and then Oconee West Shore on San Jose. One is going up to be the physicist of companies that produce radio.
your intelligence. It's just that hurting other people is one of the things that diminishes your intelligence faster than anything else. He would turn it right back into the organization. He didn't spend anything on himself, except maybe, you know, for travel expenses and bare essentials. But everything was invested in glorifying Krishna. And so everybody knows Hare Krishna now. I don't think there's a person in the world that hasn't heard of the Hare Krishna movement. But very few people have heard of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Only people who actually become disciples or devotees. Because he didn't use all this material opulence to glorify himself. He used it to glorify Krishna. So that was a perfect example of using money for a spiritual purpose. Of course, that his disciples, you know, they weren't on the same level of advancement, and they made a bunch of mistakes and misused all that money, but that's a different story. His use of the money was impeccable. Therefore, he was able to create a huge network of devotees and temples and different projects all over the world in a very short time, just a few years. So we don't have that same talent in business. I always ask for advice, you know, from Uddhava or one of my other disciples who understands business concepts. I don't like to handle the money myself because I'm really not very good at it. I'm a visionary. I like to dream. I like to envision how we can engage our material talents, propensities, energies, resources, and time in activities that have good results, not only for us, but for people in general. You know, I mean, what really motivates me is when I walk down the street and I see, or I go to the market or something like that, and I see how people are suffering. You know, I see how they're in material consciousness, how they're so sad, you know, or angry, huh? They're enraged inside, you know, and you're just like barely covering it up and somehow getting through the day, you know. I mean, you see the people like this, and it's like I want to do something to help them, because I remember how it was to be that way. I used to be like that, or similar to that, and it was painful, it was horrible, and there was no way out, because in the material world, if you're in material consciousness, you know, that's it. You know, either you're on top of the food chain or you're being exploited. It's really the only choice in the material world. So both of those are miserable in different ways. But maybe the people on the top are a little bit less miserable. That's about the only advantage that they have. But if those people could take that energy, that accumulated material energy, and they could engage it in Krishna's service, they would just be able to, like Uddhava. Uddhava is a good example. The way he's engaged his material opulence and skill in spiritual purposes. I mean, he's a great example of how you can take material energy and spiritualize it by engaging it in a spiritual purpose. So it's really too bad he couldn't make it today. And you couldn't make it yesterday, Tony, but yeah. I really wanted to get you guys together because he's also, you know, very business savvy, and you guys would probably have a lot, you know, that you could talk about in that way. I'm not very business savvy. I'm like, you know, you give me money.